Let us begin then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mind Over Madness podcast with myself, Ars, and Sean, the wonderful... Look at that face.
The genius.
Yes, the genius and the beautiful man that he is. Sean, I'm always glad to be talking to you and joined by you. How are you this evening, my good sir, since it's evening for once that we're doing this? Bit later. But
Yes, I'm all right. Yes, it's been a bit of a busy day, but I'm getting through it,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to be kind of relaxing talking to you. It doesn't feel like we're doing something that we have to do. It's a podcast,
Yeah,
but it was just
fun.
like a chat with a friend, which is good.
Yeah, it's always fun. So, as we normally do, for those of you who do not know this, and I know the people that, Robin, you're probably one of them, you haven't watched the last few because you forgot to turn your notifications on. So, if you are subscribed, press the little bell icon, it'll tell you when we upload because we're beautiful and you don't want to miss it. So, we're going to obviously go through our news section as we normally do, the wonderful news of the world that is the news, and then we'll go to gaming, our films and stuff, and then our random things. Bit different today, I feel. I've got a lot more sort of questiony topic subjects instead of kind of going through the up-to-date stuff. So, have you got anything for news, sir? If not, I can throw a few things I've got in there.
I've got down Wales restrictions eased today, but it may have been yesterday if people are
I think it
watching
was
tomorrow.
today. Yeah, of course.
But-
If you guys are watching this, remember it's like slightly
Yeah.
behind. Or if you're actually seeing us, then it's a week behind. So I mean, take that as you will. But yeah.
Well, I've had a week where I'm kind of just blocked out all COVID news, so I'm a bit
no,
light
that's
on
fair.
it. But
I haven't.
I've read that Wales restrictions are kind of easing. Like it's up to 4 or 6 people from 2 different households in the community gardens, and the stay local is just guidance, and you can pretty much travel all the way around Wales, but just not to England.
Yeah. We still can't enter your territory.
Yes, you're not allowed here.
No,
we
not
want to
here.
go there.
Oh, I know. If only.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think everyone's just getting to the stage where we really just chomping at the bit for this all to end, and for everyone to be able to be reunited and not have restrictions on their lives.
Well, on that topic, something that did change today, actually, that got updated to add to that kind of freedom and stuff, is that Wales is now the first country on the list to lift their travel ban as well, completely. So people from England can come down here. People it's lifted. It's not there anymore. It's non-existent. So that's an interesting take. I mean, what's your kind of thoughts on that? Especially, I mean, we Wales people like to just not give a fuck. So apparently, so
yeah, well, the fact that you're the first to do it, I suppose, is it's good because the other nations will look towards you as like, oh, well, if those cases aren't going up there, and then we can do the same. But yeah, if England people can go on holiday in Wales, then that's great.
it's like, oh, finally.
That's just great. I'm sure some people have preempted that, but
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a few people have been like, ah, fuck it.
yeah.
I miss people. I've got to go see them. That's just how it is,
I
man.
Can you blame them?
No, not at all. The embrace of a hug is just too needing.
I know. Especially when it's been a long, difficult year.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I am 100% with you there, my friend.
Yeah, but at the start, it was like, oh, everyone's frowning on each other for any slight breaches. But I think as it gets like close to the summer this year, people are just a bit like not giving a damn.
Yeah,
I mean,
people
everyone's
don't
been
care.
out and about, and everyone's seen pretty much 10% of people following the rules, and the rest not.
Yeah,
And the police don't really have much power anymore, do they? So
yeah, it's I don't know. I find it ironic because again, we already know, and this is, I guess, a good segue onto the next thing, which is obviously that Boris has been spreading around. Obviously, that we are going to have a third wave. There's pretty much no avoiding it. It's just how bad is this third wave going to be because of the vaccinations and things like that. So, because obviously in Europe now they are having certain areas that are being locked down again for the third time. Which is what the UK is overall trying to avoid, is like another third big ass lockdown. So, do you think we'll avoid it? Or
I think we might just get away with it in this country. We're kind of lucky to have this superior vaccine rollout program that we've got going. It's like, it's a shame that Europe aren't following suit with that kind of massing vaccines and stuff, and the vaccine take-up rate is a lot lower in there. But yeah, I think we're blessed to have such a good system here.
I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but the vaccination thing works. I know there are a lot of people that are turning it down, and again, there's plenty of research. You can go and do it. I'll even link some stuff down below. It's fine. It's okay. Definitely get vaccinated. The sooner the sooner we get this vaccinations rolled out, the sooner we can make a program for it every year. The sooner we can go back to having our freedoms and our normal lives, quote unquote, again, which would be wonderful. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, there are people who aren't taking it, and then there are people who are thinking, "Well, I've had it. I'm immune to it." Oh no. That is also not the right attitude to have, because you're not completely immune.
No, you can still, again, for people that aren't aware, a vaccine does stop you from getting, physical symptoms. It stops you from getting seriously ill from the virus. It doesn't mean you won't have it, and it doesn't mean you can't pass it on. There's still a risk there, but that's why the government are trying to get the vaccines above the average. So it's like a mass vaccinated kind of population. It means that if there is an outbreak of it, it's not going to do anything. It'll be fine. Yeah. As best as it can be. I hope we avoid a third lockdown. I don't think that would be good for anyone. And hopefully we keep going on that track.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a third lockdown here, but I think there will be restrictions that kind of continue, like small ones like masks and things. Which I think everyone will be pretty much happy with, apart from the people who are like, I don't wear masks because I'm claustrophobic.
Or I can't wear a mask because it stops me breathing. Really? Then maybe you're in that population that shouldn't leave your house.
Maybe you should wear a mask more often then.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we can agree. So far, everything is looking good. Everything is looking up, which is a positive. Yeah. It's been a year of fucking hardship. And I just want a bit of good news.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is some good news on the AstraZeneca vaccine, which I actually caught just before we started this podcast. So, over in America, obviously, and in Europe, there have been widespread concerns and stuff about the AstraZeneca, saying that they cause blood clots, there's concerns about it, it's not safe, blah, blah, fucking blah. So, 32,449 volunteers, all from the US, Chile, and Peru, all took part in taking the AstraZeneca vaccine, having both doses within the space of 4 weeks. The conclusions came to 79%. It was a 79% effective on symptoms. So any kind of symptoms and stuff like light symptoms, it was 79% effective of keeping them all out. And this is the main thing, 100% effective at keeping from severe disease. So death, hospitalization, that kind of thing, 100%. And to add on top of all of that, it was proven that there are no safety concerns whatsoever with blood clots or any other kind of side effect as well. And this is done by America, and we all know how tough they are on stuff. So the fact that America have been like, "Hey, fam, this thing is great. Take it." You know, that's unbelievably good for the world.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt almost a little bit political, the fact that AstraZeneca one was just singled out as the one that is causing blood clots and things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on now.
Especially from
You'll
Europe.
regret this decision when it turns out it's completely safe and you've delayed it and actually killed people by delaying it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not pointing at Europe and going, ha ha, fucking idiots. I'm one that voted to stay. But in regards to kind of how Europe have acted, it does kind of sometimes, I don't know if you would agree with me on this, but it does sometimes come across like quite petty, quite immature, quite silly. More so that they're trying to score points against Britain instead of just being like, right, fuck the Brexit crap for now. This is what's going on. We need to work together and get this sorted. It kind of feels like, well, we'll stop the AstraZeneca one and prove that we can deal with it on our own. And yet, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the UK actually has, in Europe, the most effective rollout of the vaccine and its success.
Yeah, I think...
Which is mad.
Like Ursula von der Leyen, or whatever she's called. Like,
I can't remember.
But she's big hair, tough lady.
Big hair, tough lady.
She'll basically said, oh, well, we're going to stop all exports to the UK for the Pfizer vaccine because they're not giving us, I don't know, because we're not sharing it out properly and stuff. That's companies have to like honor their contracts. It's not all about well we're not sharing it out. Like that's the thing that we bought those like shed load of vaccines. So they're contractually obliged to actually send them to us. It's like nothing to do with like how we feel about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, but then it turns out like one of the ingredients for the Pfizer vaccine is actually made in like Sheffield or something.
Yeah. Which I didn't realise actually, and then it was like, oh dear.
So I mean, but then there was like a statement by one of our ministers, like, "Oh, we will never stop exports," like taking the high ground.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's good. Good points there.
Yeah, that's a nice way of making yourself look better.
And then that makes it and go, oh, nice.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like during this time, politics shouldn't even be even a thought right now. I know there's stuff that has to continue, obviously, but I think in regards to when it comes to vaccines and the virus, there shouldn't be any politics involved. It should just be what's best for the world. Let's go with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else that you have on news, good sir?
I must say no. We covered the Oprah interview last.
Yeah, the controversial, the roles.
That was like big enough for a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, literally.
Exhausting.
The only other thing I've got is Joe Biden actually did his first press conference as president of the United States, and although he did have a lot of jokes and he was came across very Obama-ish, trying to crack a joke here and there, and there have been concerns again about his age and his mental state because, my God, the man mumbled. He forgot what he was talking about at one point and completely went off track. He had so many notes, he actually got confused and was looking through them. Like, I mean, I don't think Biden is 100% great in regards to his policies and stuff, but I think he's a damn sight better than his predecessor.
Yeah.
But I am starting to wonder if there's a little bit of something, like it's falling up the stairs. Although, again, we did talk about that last week. Like, that just seems a bit harsh. All right, you fell upstairs. Leave him alone, for fuck's sake. But this, I watched bits and bobs, not the full conference, but I watched bits and bobs of it, and they're clearly either the pressure is getting to him or there's more going on with it because... when he fumbles and forgets stuff, it's literally immediate. It's gone.
Yeah.
So his age has been questioned. So I guess the topic I'm trying to discuss is: do we think that because he actually got asked if he's going to run in 2024, to which his response was yes. Yeah, exactly. So what's kind of your thoughts on like him possibly running again, lasting another 4 years? Do you think do you think there's like a limit? There's obvious signs here that clearly there's something not 100% right.
Yeah, it does slightly concern me. I wouldn't say it like worries me a lot because if that's
we don't
like,
live
the
in
biggest
America,
thing,
so it's fine.
Yeah, if that's the biggest thing they can like latch onto him about, then
yeah.
I don't know if that's that bad, but yeah, because. As we've said before, it's mostly a team of people, isn't it? It's not just him. He's just kind of the face of it. But people want to look up to one figure and, believe in him. And if he's fumbling and stumbling and, not speaking any sense, then people are going to be like,
yeah, there's going to
really,
be
this guy's running our country.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, as you say, it's a hell of a lot better than the other option.
Yeah, who apparently is making his own social media website and...
Yeah.
He
just begun.
I won't name him because I don't want to give him more. He doesn't need more fucking press, but I hope he just fucks off somewhere, live on an island.
It has been nice to kind of just not hear about him for a few months. Though.
Yeah, it's been refreshing.
It's like bye,
bye, Salika. That was meant to be Shanika. It's right. Look, normally we film this podcast a lot earlier. Okay.
I can't even get the right words.
Yeah, I'll just fuck it. I'll throw anything in there. That's fine.
Yeah. So his age. Will he be running in 2024? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think his vice president might, or someone else.
Yeah.
yeah, they'll come to some kind of agreement or things, but we'll see. We don't know. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Trump would
4
have been
years.
going for another 18 years probably.
Yeah, there's Jesus. There's still 4 years. There's still 4 years. It's
Yeah.
very early on yet. Very early on.
I am 110 years old, and I am your new president.
I have had the best vaccine, and it has cured me of everything, including death.
I'm so old. I'm the best kind of old. I am the oldest president this country has ever seen.
Oh God, can you imagine? He's the
Yeah.
one that gets immortality.
Yeah. I'm beautiful great great grandchildren.
You're my
I would
great
do them
great.
all.
Oh, incest is wincest.
It's not make America great again.
Make America, fuck again. Oh Christ! Rocket Man is no longer here, but I am. Oh Jesus! Right. Okay.
In case he wants to use any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Look at my new promo, Two Idiots.
Incest.
Incest is Wincest. Jesus.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, since there is no more news that we we have to discuss, thank God, let us move on to something a little more chirpy. Let's go on to gaming. A lot of gaming news this week, but what stuff have you got there? What magical stuff have you got in your notes?
Well, a game I got yesterday, which I've yet to play, is It Takes Two, and I've got good things about it. So I'm really excited to play it. I think just this whole genre of just co-op games, like it's very niche now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like a really good thing that EA has like supported this original project. You know, EA Originals, it's called. Yeah. It's the same with A Way Out, and yeah, I mean they can't do any wrong. They found this gap in the market, and they're rolling with it. And I hope it's as good as people say it is, because I'm really looking forward to playing it.
Well, if it's even half as good as A Way Out was, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good premise as well. So I don't know how it can do much wrong, but I'm not going to set the bar so high. But,
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing through with it with you. But that'll be at a later date. I know you have pre-arranged plans, which you will go with.
Yes, it's one of those things where when you get a game like this, you've got to kind of decide who plays it first.
People fighting over it. No, I want to play it. Kick.
Yeah. I'm a bit of an everybody hates Hugo situation after that. It's like, all right, if I have all these nice things, then people want it. But yeah, we'll play it, and then we will give our honest reviews in a podcast.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be played. I know by the time we do our next podcast, Outriders would have been out, and I'm going to be playing it through the Game Pass. So I can talk a little bit about that as well in the next one. I think these last 2 weeks have been quite slow. I'm not going to lie. It's been quite difficult, because the games I'm playing are going to take forever to finish. I mean, I started playing Squadrons, which is good. Everything I've played, which is excellent. It's very good. I don't know why towards the end, before EA lost like their exclusive rights, they decided now they would do good games on Star Wars, but there we are. But yeah, it's fun, exciting, action-packed. I'll be honest, I did sit there pretending like I was in the cockpit, and it's always fun.
Yeah. If you had VR as well, that would be even better.
It's like another experience, yeah. But, not a nat just yet, not yet. But right, so I have a little bit of news. Oh, I say a little bit. I've actually got quite a lot more news topics to talk about on gaming. So
yeah.
We're not going to touch anything more on political crap. But yeah. But next. Recently Microsoft released that they're changing the name from Xbox Live to Xbox Network. I don't know how this made the news. People were complaining about the fact they thought they were losing Xbox Live. That isn't the case. It's just they're changing it to Network. I know they've bought Discord. Microsoft have actually purchased that now, so I've got a funny feeling it's got something to link with. It'll be like Discord, along with like films, TV, everything, like absolutely everything. I think that's why they've done it. Kind of what would be your sort of take on it? Do you think they've done it to sort of not necessarily branch out, but so they can have everything under one roof?
Yeah, I know we've discussed this earlier in the week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had a quick
uh,
chat.
yeah, just a quick one.
It's only a brief one. We weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, I think it's just like it's not really something Sony would have thought of. I don't think they're kind of like appealing to the gamer
Mm,
as a person and like as an audience rather than the games.
mm.
Um, which is an interesting tactic, I suppose, because they're kind of just getting all of the with more games becoming crossplay and stuff. People want to use Discord to speak with their friends on different platforms, which
Yeah.
is as simple as that. And if they own exclusive rights to Discord, then Xbox is the place to be for gaming in general.
Yeah. I know
Um,
they've got the app already, I think, on Xbox, which is
yeah,
mad.
yeah. So you're just not going to get a whiff of it, are they? Um, but so yeah, they're kind of trying to appeal to the gamer, the
Mm.
average gamer, I suppose.
As
Yeah,
someone who never, like, I used to not be against Discord, but I was like convinced for ages to go on it, and eventually I did go on it, and I can see why the appeal is there, more than something like Skype, for instance, which we are using now. Nothing wrong with it, but I do see the appeal of Discord because it's much easier to do anything. It's much simpler. It's quicker. Like how you have like how we have to do the setup for this. Like my kind of camera is in this corner. Sean takes up all this screen, which is fine. On Discord, you can literally just split it down the middle. It's so simple and it's so nice. But again, I think there is a market for multiple different platforms. I think if you just have one monopoly, this is another thing I was going to bring up to you. Do you think that Microsoft are now getting so big? Do you reckon they're going to fall into sort of the categories of like Amazon, where they're just going to become an absolute monopoly, with them buying up, so many different, publishers and developing companies now as well for games,
yeah,
as well as like stuff like
yeah.
Discord
I
and things.
think
Like it's like a monopoly now of the gaming world essentially, or technology.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't because yeah, it's like
How do
trying
I
to like
answer this?
network all these ideas. Well, I think they'll always have competition at least,
Yeah.
because in the console industry, there's always competition, which makes improves the quality of the games and everything else, and the quality of the services as well. So I think PlayStation are going to have to like pull something out of the bag. I know recently they released the free games like
Yeah.
play at home scheme. There's like 10 free games, including Horizon Zero Dawn, which is like amazing. One of
Yeah.
their best games,
Definitely.
exclusive games. So they're just like, what are we gonna do? Just give them the games for free now.
I do feel like Sony
um,
will get there eventually, but I think it's going to be an uphill. They're always going to be behind Microsoft because they have a fraction of the money. But I don't think Sony will ever like go down or go under. I think they'll
no, no.
always be the main competition. But I think
Thing
it's
with
healthy
Sony,
competition.
yeah, definitely. The thing with Sony is they invest their money in the right places,
Yeah.
which is like a smarter move than just having everything
Mm-mm.
and then not putting much quality into it.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
on the subject of Sony, the next thing I was going to talk about, which I also think we discussed during the week, was the fact they're closing PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. What do we kind of think of that? Do we think it's because I'm not too sure of the logistics. I'm not sure if it's once the store is gone, you won't be able to download any of the like sort of online library that you have,
mm,
or digital library. So I couldn't count that as a factor right now because I'm unsure if that's actually a thing that happens.
yeah.
But what's kind of your thoughts on them closing entire stores for platforms just because they're not used anymore?
Um, I think it's a bit like sad with and nostalgia reasons. Like there are still people these days who actually still have PS3s
Yeah.
and PS Vitas and whatever have you, um, and they play them like regularly. um, Obviously, the play base is quite small on them, so I mean that's got to be considered.
Yeah.
But it is kind of sad. But at some point, this has to happen.
Yeah.
So why not just say it now and then maybe release some good news and later on and make people forget about it. I'm sure you'll still get access to the games you bought and stuff,
Yeah.
but
I would like to think so. That would be a
yeah,
massive fucking
yeah,
content.
that would be a bit of a dick
That
move, I
that
think.
would be. I think I agree with you on the sense of like if you get to keep the games. I agree completely on your
Yeah,
sentiment. I think if you don't get to keep the games though, That is something that Sony needs to address. I'm not too. Again, this is being recorded at 7:20 on the 27th of March 2021, so I am unaware of anything that Sony has said. I'm not sure if they have said that they're going to keep. You can keep all your backlog of library because people understandably don't have hard drives, external hard drives for those consoles because at the time it wasn't really a necessity. Yeah, so if you have nowhere to store all of those games before they get closed down and then you lose them forever, and there's no kind of compensation for it, how that's like essentially theft in my mind because you're losing product that you've paid for.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably one of those things where it's like written in the contract, and like there are servers for games that you have to get shut down eventually. And
yeah, well, this is what a lot of people are saying. Like, when you tick that little agree button when you buy something digitally, it means they can just fucking take it away when they feel like it. So
yeah, it's a tricky one to get around. But
yeah,
I think as long as enough time has passed, you have to realize that it's not viable to keep these things running when they can using that assets to improve the current service and future services, which would be better. But no.
What's kind of your thoughts on possibly this happening again? Imagine, let's say, we're another 8 years down the line. I don't want to think about that because I'll be a lot older. But imagine 8 years down the line, and then they're closing PS5 servers or PS4 servers. Kind of how do we think this will happen again? Do we reckon there will inevitably come a time where these storefronts have to close because they have to make room for the next generations and things?
Yeah. Well, how old is the PS3 now? So that's like 2007. I think. I don't know.
It's like 14 years? 14, 15 years?
Yeah, so 15 years, like, God knows where technology will be by then. It's kind of hard to say. But I think going forward, things kind of seem to be better, like, libraried and, like, stored on your account now. So I don't think it's going to be a massive issue going forward. Like, I don't feel like they have to keep on doing it. Cause they seem to be, like, between PS4 and PS5, there's a lot of the backwards compatibility thing is a big thing. And we're in an era where people want to keep their stuff. I think in the olden days, people were kind of just like playing games, and then the new console came out, and fuck it,
that's straight
throw them
into
away.
the next console. Yeah. No, I can imagine. Yeah, that's about right. Sums it up. I mean, I've got all my old consoles. I've still got all the discs and stuff. But that's my next question to you. Do you? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, I kind of forgotten, but it's like if you want to play those games, you keep those consoles. Like if you're so precious about it, then keep the console. But yeah, sorry, go on.
No,
it's just
yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. I was like, oh no, Sean.
Speak, my child.
Speak, my child. So what was I going to say? Oh no. Oh, that's it. Right. So, kind of, where do you stand? Are you more in the digital library and the digital world, like kind of buying things digitally, or are you more up for? I mean, I know the answer to this, but are you more up for, kind of having a physical copy, so you know that no matter what happens, you've always got that game. It's always going to be there for you and yours.
Yeah, I'm more up for the physical. I like to be physical, okay?
I like the physicality.
Yeah, I can't see many downsides of having physical over digital apart from convenience. Because you can resell it, you can give it to your friends to try. I mean, and thank God we're not in the era of PS3 where it was like online passes and stuff where you get one code in the box and that was it, and they wanted you to buy different ones if you gave it to your friends. Thankfully that retired because it's probably unpopular.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've forgotten whether I'm like Joe Biden.
I'm like Joe Biden.
I'm like Joe Biden. I just can't keep track on one thought.
It is. It's later. It's just how it is. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm more of a digital boy. That's just how I am. Mainly because it's cheaper. Like where I normally find that games are cheaper sooner.
Yeah.
But I can understand why physical copies are probably more safe to go down that route instead of.
Well, I bought the most recent game I bought. It Takes Two physically, and I managed to get it like £5 cheaper than on the digital store. But
yeah,
that's a unique one because it wasn't like a retail price game or something.
Yeah,
it's more along the $30-40 mark,
Yeah.
or £30. So yeah, because I figured if it's a single player game, I'm not going to keep it forever. It's not like a one that I'm going to keep going back to forever and ever and ever. Well,
Yeah.
not that any game will keep my interest that long, but for a
Very
long,
few.
long period of time,
Very few
then I
games.
might as well kind of play it with the select friends I have. And I don't have that many friends, so yeah, should be quite quick.
Well, less friends, but they mean more to you.
Yeah.
That is better.
Then then I can sell it after that, and probably make almost as much back. So
Yeah, no, that's
I
fair.
think that can go towards the next experience with co-op games or single player games. So
Yeah, the next
I feel like it's
experience.
win-win.
The next gaming experience, whether it be the new Watch Dogs or something else.
Really, watch those.
I don't know, but yeah, no, I completely get you.
Yeah.
So I got two pieces of I've got two pieces of gaming news. So I'll quickly blast them out. So Back for Blood, the zombie shooter that's made by the same Left 4 Dead people who made Left 4 Dead. It's been pushed back to October. I'll be honest, I'm very upset because I was genuinely very excited for it. But
I saw that news.
I'll be honest. If they're pushing it back to make sure that the game is better, to make sure that it's more polished, I'm absolutely all for it, and I can wait until October to play it.
And it did already look quite polished when they're doing the gameplay demos and stuff. So if they can improve it even more, they must be wanting to get it flawless. So.
Absolutely. Maybe they've come up with a new gaming concept or idea to throw in there after feed. Because the thing is, I know they released kind of the early access and alpha gameplays to people, and then it's convenient how it's been pushed back after that. So I feel like they've been given a bunch of feedback and they've gone, cool, let's implement all this, then we can bring the game out. So
yes.
I think everyone's learning from the Cyberpunk incident. At least let's fucking hope. So,
yeah, I can't wait for that one to get back on track.
Yes, because eventually I would like to play Cyberpunk. I'll be honest, but I'm not playing
I'm not
it.
completely opposed to playing it. It's just all this backlash against it and the bugs.
I once it's polished, sure, and once the next gen version comes out, I'll grab it. But yes, there was some news on the new Call of Duty, the yearly game that never changes, and apparently it's actually the name of the game has been released and what it's set in. So it's set in World War II, and it's going to be called Call of Duty Vanguard. What's kind of your thoughts on that? They're going back to the World War II stuff.
Well, I've always been more of a fan of the older Call of Duties, set in the older times and World Wars and things. But at this point, even I don't give a fuck about
it's just so many of them at this point. It's they're the same game every fucking year, just different skin.
Forward, COD is dead to me.
I think it's more I enjoy the campaigns of them, but that's not worth paying. What is going to now be £70 for the base game? It's not worth it.
Yeah, they've been lining their pockets with fans for over a decade now.
Two, I think. Yeah.
2 decades, and so it gets a time when you need to stop reskinning the same thing and have some original idea.
Yeah, just change it. That's the thing I'm going to be looking out for and kind of like Call of Duty, Battlefield, those kinds of games now is what's different, what's unique about them. If there's nothing fucking changed, why would I get it?
Yeah, it's less of a games company, more of a machine now, Activision, and
they found kind of that perfect money making scheme, and they just keep pumping and pumping. And it's ironic that they keep firing over 200 people after they had a successful quarter, a record-breaking quarter of money. Get rid of 200 employees. We don't need them anymore. Yeah. It's wankers.
And I don't like any kind of style of game where it churns them out every year, like FIFA and
FIFA
all the sports games. But
EA.
Speed, I think. Do they do one of those every year? I don't know.
Yeah, most of them are like yearly releases.
Yeah, so they just never hit the spot really.
No, because it's just the same thing.
Or
it's
rarely they do. Sometimes they might pull a good one out. But,
it's like that thing, isn't it? It's like, why would I spend £70 on your newest card when it's basically no different to the oldest version I can get on there for £5?
Yeah.
You've
already got COD World War II. You can't call a COD an era and then have another COD in the same era.
Have something different. Do something unique. But fuckers just they don't want to take risks anymore.
In an alternate timeline with time travel and stuff.
See,
Go all Titanfall on us.
yeah, exactly. Titanfall was a fucking fantastic series.
Yeah, because it's like pushed the boundaries and made something
Yeah.
unique.
I love Titanfall 2. The
Yeah,
story to Titanfall 2 in the campaign was so good.
yeah,
I know a lot of people weren't fans of it, but I don't give a fuck. I liked it. It was
I
different.
liked it.
Different. Some different
Emotional
experience.
and
Yeah.
fun, unique.
Yeah, I got to be in a giant mech suit and shoot people. Who wouldn't
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So, on to films and TV then, Sean. What have you been watching this week?
Well,
Have a bite of my
today I basically finished off Captain America: Winter Soldier because I realized that was one Marvel film that I had not seen in this timeline. Because of the recent release of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was like, "Who the hell are these guys?" And then, of course, found out. I watched the series first, which was probably a mistake, but then I've watched the film, and I thought, well, I'm used to watching things out of time. But I enjoyed it. The action scenes were so good in the film. And yeah, the Winter Soldier is so interesting, and Hydra, and like the origins, and yeah, I love it.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah. That was the film, by the way. The series. Yeah, that's very good as well. It's been more of a Marvel series that people would have expected over WandaVision, which I will mention in a second.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think you'll like it. I won't want to say too much about it because I won't spoil anything.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching Winter Soldier and Falcon. It was unfortunate because my Disney Plus just ran out, and I could renew it, but I'm waiting until my next payday, and then I'll renew it then.
WandaVision as well. I finished that off finally. I know we both finished that.
Yes.
But yeah, such a good series.
It did pick up.
Yeah. At first, you're just like, what the hell? And then you get a few episodes in, oh, this is intriguing. And then you get to the end and you're like, this is so good. So I think they just did so many things right for like a curveball series.
Yeah.
Like focusing on the sitcoms and like the different eras for every episode and the different camera styles and the different kinds of comedy, and as well as an intriguing story, like balancing those two out, like the Vision and Wanda. And yeah, and there's like a little spice of what people wanted in there as well, with the superhero fights and whatever. But yeah, that's how a unique series should be. I really enjoyed it.
What was your favourite part from WandaVision? I was just going to ask quick.
It's probably the reveal of like the villain in the end, I suppose, and just finding more about Wanda and her past and how it linked to why the series is the way it is.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the most intriguing aspect, because you like sat through it and you're kind of thinking, what?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. But
what
then
a generous man you are. You're not even giving spoilers. You're that caring. Yeah, well, we've done it for nearly a year now. I feel like we've probably we've done something better, right?
So yeah, I think when you enjoy a series enough, like you know how to say things that people will understand without having to spoil it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rather than not having a clue in it. Oh yeah, this person died.
Especially I feel like the ending, the last kind of clip that we get, the after credit scene in WandaVision. Absolutely, like, because I wasn't so psyched about the upcoming Marvel kind of stuff that they're planning, but that really, really excited me. I don't know why. Just I really got pushed out there. I was like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, we forgot to mention something in the games.
Oh, go on.
Speaking of Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Has it made a little bit of a resurgence for us? Or you, anyway?
Yeah, me. Yeah, it's been a while.
Obviously, the PS5 version came out March 18th, and along with it, the Hawkeye DLC.
Yeah.
And, the Hawkeye DLC,
it is what it is.
People may have their, like, things to say about it, but I think as a whole package now, it seems to have improved a little bit. And PS5 version has improved it for us. Definitely helped.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of getting into it and fun to play and stuff again.
I know. I found it
a lot more
enjoyable. Yeah, I found it a lot more enjoyable now. obviously I've done the Kate Bishop stuff. I've done all that. That was really, really cool. I enjoyed playing as her. I've only done the first mission with Hawkeye, of course, with you, which has been fun. It's been enjoyable. I know there's still a lot of bugs and glitches. I mean, I've encountered many, but nothing as serious as it used to be. But then that's just my experience. I know there are plenty of people out there that have experienced that. So, but obviously they came out with their new roadmap as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about roadmaps, man. Most of them fail. And I think what's worrying me about Avengers specifically is that the player base is not there anymore. Like, although it has gone up, admittedly, by a little bit. Obviously, they've still got Black Panther, which they've said is towards more the end of this year, possibly start of next year. And we haven't heard anything on Spider-Man yet. And granted, we play it on PlayStation, so of course, again, I think we've discussed this before. People can go back and watch the other podcasts if you want my opinion on kind of exclusivity or whatever. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I do worry about that Spider-Man thing because that was part of the deal, and although I don't give that much of a fuck about it, it's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
And what worries me is it's going to turn into an Anthem situation where it goes on for so long, but then because they're not making enough money back, they kind of go, well, fuck it, drop it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I don't think something like this, like on this caliber, has been done before. Like a whole character in a game being exclusive on a multi-platform game.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time when that's kind of been done before. But yeah, it's gonna fall onto like the shoulders of Sony and like how are they gonna address that, because you can't sell a game saying we're gonna have Spider-Man in it and then not have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe they'll just like try and get around it somehow and just have like a skin of him for like someone else.
I hope they don't do that. The thing is, I will say this much. Compared to what the game was, let's say, when it first came out, like the first month it came out compared to now, 1,000 times better. Absolutely. Yeah. It's still a grind. There's still just very repetitive missions, but they are different enough and plentiful. And because of the number of characters you can play as, I feel as if I'm having enough fun because I can just switch between them and it's all good. Yeah. So I'm not one of these people that chooses one character and just grinds on them until they're finished.
You would get like bored out of your skull if you did that. You need to kind of switch around with them. So yeah, it's kind of like a different game every character you play. So. Which is an interesting approach, but it's working for now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, big up Marvel Avengers PS5 edition.
You've done a great job, Marvel. Thank you very much. Hopefully it keeps going up and it can improve and get better, and they listen to their community. I know they've got, what was it, the Red Room kind of thing.
Red Room, harm challenges,
and
MCU
harm challenges.
Outfits.
So there's two of the next things. So there's like between power levels 1 and 100 is the first thing they're working on, and then the second thing is kind of like new outfits and new unlockables and stuff. So
yeah,
okay, cool. I'd much rather they worked on, Black Panther, but I get it. Maybe that I think we talked about this, didn't we? Which was that they might be trying to make it bigger than Kate Bishop. But innuendos. Other than Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, who do play very similarly, different abilities and stuff, but play very similarly. They want to have like a bigger narrative with Black Panther. At least that's what we're kind of hoping for.
Yeah, it kind of makes me excited because what could come, but it's the same with the Battlefront 2 situation. You kind of get excited all the time about which heroes they're going to add.
Yeah.
So it's painfully slow when they release them, and it's not everything that people want.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that you can't please everyone, I suppose.
Yeah. I do hope
to like simmer our expectations for it, but I'm looking forward to playing Black Panther and the whole. They're calling it an expansion, so maybe that's more than just 4 missions.
2 hours of content. But yeah, no, hopefully
free as well. So
yeah, I'm very excited for it. That's all I'll say. I'm very excited, but I'm not gonna get too sucked into it. It's a fun game to play right now, and that's all I care about.
And playing it together is just
it's been so much fun. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, for reasons we shan't talk about on here, just personal stuff. You can obviously be on the console for a week, so I've missed my Marvel buddy.
Yeah. We'll play more of it very soon.
Absolutely, but Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I completely fucking forgot.
Yeah, I was thinking about it throughout the whole thing. I just forgot to talk about it.
But yes, back onto the films and TV stuff. But well,
Yes.
absolutely, that will be a game we keep an eye on. So, anything else that you've been watching? Good, is that?
No.
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 Solid no, James. Oh well, I watched The Boys season 2. I finally finished that. Very good. Looking forward to season 3 whenever the fuck that comes out. I also watched 2 documentary series on Netflix. They've been bringing out some bangers of documentaries. I'm not going to lie. So I finished Murder at the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
A very fascinating documentary to break it down for anyone that wants to know kind of a blurb. It's about the Elisa Lam situation that happened at the Cecil. They kind of talk about every kind of aspect. They have YouTubers on there. They have people from the FBI and things talking about kind of their process of
British
going
tourists.
through it. British
Drinking the water.
tourists, which I find hilarious that they tried to get their 5 minutes of fame and extend it. But yeah, a documentary I highly recommend, because this was a thing that I'd obviously heard about through a show called BuzzFeed Unsolved. And I never really looked into it more than that, so I was quite more on the kind of conspiracy, paranormal side of it for a very, very long time. But this documentary really helps flesh out certain aspects of it, and certain things that you won't have seen unless you paid attention. So, highly recommend that.
What did you think of the whole YouTuber angle on it?
I think it's good. I think it's an interesting thing to have. I'm very much a person who thinks that you should get information from every side and then make a decisive decision. So it was cool to actually see people from YouTube or conspiracy circles that wanted to go on and talk about it. But surprisingly, the one thing I did find was that a lot of the people they talked to were not talking about it in a paranormal kind of conspiracy way. It was more the conspiracy of things were being hidden, purposely taken away so that the wider public couldn't see them. So it's a very much a documentary that really delves into every aspect and doesn't just shy away from something because they think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they give every source a credible amount of time as well, which I was quite impressed by. It felt very much kind of like they put the same amount of effort into Tiger King. When they made that, you see from every angle, every side. Yeah. It feels very much like that, so I would highly recommend people go and watch that. But yeah, no, I do think that to answer your question more directly, yes, I like the idea of having people like that on there because it gives another perspective, and they were very respectful towards them, and
yeah,
I like it. It was very, very interesting. What was kind of your take on it? What did you think of it?
Oh, on the influencers making kind of conspiracies.
Yeah. And all the entire series in a general, kind of, what was your takeaway from it?
I enjoyed the series, definitely. It's one of the more well-made ones for Netflix, and binge-worthy, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it goes through I liked how it goes through the history of the hotel and stuff, and what's been going on there, rather than just, focus on one little thing, incident that happened there. Yeah. So you got the whole context for it, and then and yeah, I think it was good to have a diverse range of opinions on things, and I think it may have shone a little bit of a negative light on influencers, possibly because the police were a bit not impressed, of course. They should just leave it alone, and they don't have all the facts and stuff, but it's one of those things. Well, why don't you just release some more information?
Yeah,
I suppose everyone thinks they want to help, and they want to open an investigation, but it is the police's job to do it. But whatever.
Of course, I will say this much: there is a part of the documentary where they sort of go into a specific person. Again, I don't want to spoil anything. I highly recommend. And the way that person was treated by the online community is disgusting, and that kind of shit should never happen. But it unfortunately does, and this is why we have a police force and people that investigate. They find more than just your fucking hunch because you think you're right.
Oh, you look funny.
Yeah, you look different. You must have done this thing, And it's a very bad. The internet can be such an incredibly diverse and helpful place, but it can also be a cesspit of assholes that just don't care about logic and facts and just go with their gut and go, no, I must be right. There's no other possible solution to this. It must have been an alien that probed her, because why else would there be the nothing else makes sense logically, and it's like that's not even a sentence.
Yeah. But yeah, I think when people watch the video of her, I think it's quite clear, what is going on.
Certain aspects of that video made a lot more sense to me after that series, I'll be honest
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
But yeah, where they found her in the end.
Yeah. And I do find there were certain facts that I never knew about that you find out in the documentary, and it's like they've just been hidden from the public for no other reason.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a documentary people need to check out if they know of the situation.
Yeah. Or if they don't, like me.
Yeah.
If you just like true crime in general, you'll like it anyway.
Yeah, documentaries, my favourite thing. On to documentaries. They also released The Lost Pirate Kingdom very recently. Basically talking about how pirates became a thing, their entire journey. It even goes into the history of very famous pirates like Blackbeard, and their kind of origins and stuff. Very fascinating documentary. I highly recommend watching it. I'm not a big person into pirates and stuff like that, except for Pirates of the Caribbean, of course, but as everyone is, James. But yeah, no, I think it's a very fascinating and interesting tale about how it all came together and how it worked, and the diplomacy that, these so-called evil pirates stuck by a certain code, and it's incredible. Very, very well done.
I need to watch that one. I haven't seen it.
It's very good. I highly recommend it. Very, very interesting one.
Oh.
And the last thing I've got for this was actually a question. So, obviously, during the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, and that includes cinema. Obviously, digital premieres have now been a thing that have been quite prominent, I would say, in the last few months, especially. What's kind of your take on it? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing? Do you think it's actually the future? Do you think it's killing off, because I still have a guy that literally delivers DVDs every week that I rent off him. Do you think it's killing out smaller businesses like that? Or kind of what's your take on it?
Yeah, it probably is killing smaller businesses by doing it. I think it's acceptable during these times when cinemas aren't open. There's no way to kind of watch new films. But I don't want it to be the way forward. I mean, people are probably thinking it might be because it is more convenient, and you're basically cutting out the middleman. I'm sure there'll be costs saved by people, but then it'll also negatively impact cinemas and negatively impact a lot of people and just fill their pockets of the producers and executives and stuff, which is not great. And have you seen the prices of these things?
Yeah, they're not exactly cheap.
It's far more expensive than going to the cinema.
Yeah, it's like you're starting to pay for your own bloody couch.
Yeah. So I personally not a massive fan, but I mean, in challenging times, then you've got to find a way around it. But I would prefer to watch it at a cinema, a new film, and then have it released later on, as it is now.
Yes.
Well, was.
I think it's definitely an interesting it's definitely a way they've dealt with the pandemic, and I think it's a very constructive and good way of dealing with it. But I do think there is something special about the cinema experience, and I think especially paying £20 to £25 to watch a film one time, just to rent it, not even buy it. That's a lot of money. And why the fuck am I paying you £20 when it's on my TV in my house off my internet that I'm already paying for, and my couch that I've already paid for? There's a lot of negatives to it, and I don't think it's something that's going to continue probably past the end of this year, possibly next year. Even after, once, hopefully, let's fucking touch wood, that the end of this year, we've got some normality back, like cinemas and things like that. I definitely think it should stay on that cinema side, I think indie films should probably get more places in cinemas, because a lot of good indie films don't get enough places. So if there is a big blockbuster film that they want to release, but they're kind of a bit unsure on whether it's going to make a lot of money, do a premiere release for that and allow indies to kind of come up a bit more in the cinemas, maybe. Or maybe do 1 or 2 viewings of in the cinema. Especially a good example is the Snyder Cut. Nearly a 4-hour film. You have that in a cinema, you're going to be able to show it 2-3 times a day, because it's damn near 4 hours. That makes more sense to release at home, and I think it gives creators a much more brighter and Brighter and water, spoonerism. Jesus, a broader and wider range to be able to create films that are not necessarily kind of your typical, I'd sit in a cinema for 5 hours and make my ass go numb, kind of thing. But they could have that ability if they wanted to produce their own version of the film against the studio. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that one.
Yeah, because then technically they're still getting their kind of version of the story out, and then at the end of the day, that would help companies, because then if the fans went, well, we prefer this version of the film, they can go, right, that's the road we'll go down then. But you haven't wasted any money because you've made money back from it being in the cinema.
Essentially double dipped. So.
Yeah, exactly. Two versions of a film that, because a lot of people have pointed out the Snyder Cut has been received a lot more, with a lot more praise. Yeah. Lots more people have loved it and enjoyed it. And there was even talk, I highly doubt this will happen, I'll be honest, it's Warner Bros. But there was even talk about Snyder taking it back over and bringing it all back out again. And continuing with what was called at the time the Snyder DCEU verse.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the way to go. Let directors and director's cuts come out maybe digitally, but have cinema still be there for the actual theatrical cuts and things.
Yeah, I agree. Like the cinema theatrical release will be the canon release for whatever reasons, but digital platforms can go ham on the
go ham
on the director's cuts in there.
Absolutely, very good.
I'm glad.
All right then. Now we are on to our final part of the show. For those of you who are not aware, we call this moment the Random Things. This is where we have random subjects and topics that we sometimes talk about. Sometimes they're super long, sometimes they're super short. It all just comes down to what we talk about and if we want to continue talking. And considering it is 10 to 8, I don't know how long this part's going to last, but it's probably not that long. So, let us get into this. Have you got any random things this week, Sean? Anything?
I think it would be best if you started us off.
Oh, okay. Do you want? Okay, I can go with that. So,
and that totally wasn't a avoidance because I haven't got anything.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was kind of mob mentality, not cancel culture. We have talked about that before, but mob mentality. So, I've got very limited experience. Well, I say limited. I did stream for many, many years, but it wasn't like to an extent of where I had an audience or whatever, like big views. But I wanted to talk about kind of the hate culture online, about how people feel like they have to comment something horrible instead of just immediately clicking off it and going, well, that's not for me, I'll find someone else. Do we think that's just an integral part of social media and that's what it has come along with it? Or do we think that that's something that's just unacceptable and it's just basically people crying out for attention?
Yeah, well, I mean, 50 years ago, this kind of thing probably didn't exist on this scale.
It was like screaming on the streets, waving a bell. Arsehole incoming!
Yeah, because it's essentially just keyboard warriors, isn't it? Like, everyone feels like they've got more entitlement to... Well, of course, everyone can have an opinion on things, but more entitlement to express their volatile opinions, over social media and, slander anyone who doesn't agree with them.
Yeah, of course.
And I think so. It's a big caveat of social media as well. One of the negatives.
Yeah,
everyone comes out and has an opinion on it.
I find it fascinating, especially when it comes to streamers and YouTubers. Right, just as an example, I'm sure film, TV, many things get it. But specifically with YouTubers and streamers, you find, especially with streamers, when they're streaming for so many hours, these people just come in and start throwing hate in the chat at them. And it's like, you're the one giving it attention now. So you do wonder, like, sometimes it's like, well, if you really don't like this person genuinely that much, just go away. Just find something that you enjoy. So there must be something in that person's heart that's like, no, I get enjoyment off this, or I just want to start a hate mob. I think the best way I heard it described was Shaggy earlier showed me a video of one of the kind of VTuber streamers that he watches, and she described it as like cockroaches. Even if you can't see it in your house, you still have to find it because you hate it and it has to be gone. And that's what it feels like with these people who hate on people and are haters. As it's described as many ways. I just described them as arseholes, but that's just me. But it's very much that kind of mentality. I don't know if you would agree, but it's like, even if they can't see it, it has to be gone because they don't like it and they don't agree with it. It's like, no, don't want it there. It's disgusting. It's a piece of poo. Get rid of it. Like, I don't want it anywhere near my screen. I don't want it existing anymore. It must be nuked. You know, it's that kind of the China mentality. If we don't like it, it doesn't exist. So, I mean, would you agree? Do you think that's kind of how it is? Like, have you ever experienced that kind of thing of like, oh no, it must be gone, or is it just like, fuck off?
I don't know. I just can't. It's one of those weird things. Like there will always be trolls and people who are wanting to, voice a negative aspect on something which they have no right. Saying, I was literally in Pennington Flash today, and like a load of boys who went past on bikes was like, "Oh, what breed of cat's that?" To my dog. Dogs, I was like, "It's a dog."
Oh, poor Lola and Roxy.
I know. So even they got hate for no reason.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, screw them. They also got a lot of compliments, like, "Aren't they good?"
If you ever see this, fuck you.
Yeah.
Those dogs are beautiful.
But yeah, it's just you just got to kind of use the professionalism to kind of ignore it, as long as it's not happening on like a wide scale. And if you're bringing attention to it, like as the streamer, then it's kind of like they're winning.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of block it out, acknowledge it and block it out. Don't kind of focus so much on it. But I mean, that's like kind of, I'm not trying to victim blame or anything. But
No, of course. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is. There will always be trolls.
Yeah, I think the thing that I find is that, this due to, I'll see if I can find the name and link it down below, because this will probably become a clip. I'm not going to lie, it's a very interesting subject. But what I find is that this person was talking about kind of like on Twitter, you can block certain words, block certain phrases, that kind of thing, block people secretly so they don't know they're blocked. But doesn't that just give them more power? Like, even if they don't know about it, right? So they get blocked in a stream, they're like, great, I've got under their skin, and they carry on. As you said, isn't it better to just ignore it? Don't even give them the time of day.
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, I only ever experienced someone coming into my stream and being a dick, like, I think one time. And it just made me laugh, because I thought, I'm literally a nobody. I have no views, and you've just literally come in here to tell me I'm a dick and then leave. And I found
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I found it so funny, and so just it occurred to me. I was like, people get this every day. Like, people get told to kill themselves and stuff, which is, by the way, foul.
Yeah.
But like, these people must do it for attention, or literally just because they cannot even entertain the idea that even if they don't watch them and it doesn't affect their life in any way, that person has to be gone, or that thing has to disappear. It can't exist in the same world. And I'd love to sit down with someone like that and just be like, can you explain to me, like, where does this come from? Like, I'm so, like, enthralled.
But the thing is, you probably meet them on a daily basis,
Yeah,
They're
that's the thing, yeah.
They're average people, walking around. Could be neighbours, could be co-workers. It's like, but they just turn into this different thing when they're at home, bored or whatever. So.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think
it's just entertaining for people, I suppose, to just, make themselves feel better.
It feels like people are looking for something to be upset about these days. And I find that so just strange. Why would you...
Karens.
Karens and... What was it? Karens and Kenneth? Or Kevin's? Kevin's, that's it. Karens and Kevin's. I don't use that often, but, there it is. But yeah, no, I just found it very, very strange. I guess I don't experience that mainly because I don't use social media anymore, but I mean, does that change it, really? Like, if these people weren't on social media, would they just find something in there? Like you said, when you walk past people, they insulted your animals for no reason. Like, even if we didn't have social media, these people clearly will carry on doing what they do.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I find it baffling because...
It's one of those things that if you're in your own home, you're not going to get things like that. Where with social media, it invades your home as well. It invades your personal space. It's in your pocket 24/7.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's a weird topic, and it's something I could talk about for ages. But we won't talk about it anymore. That's that topic. I think overall, I would say people that do that, just ignore them. Oh God, excuse me, hiccuping. pardon me. Just ignore them, let them move on. Don't even give them the time of day because that's what they want. They want attention. So
Trolls
don't
feed
give
on
them
attention.
So yeah, just fuck them. Don't bother. Don't actually fuck. That's not what I'm saying. That's like a present. Don't do that. Sorry. Right. Okay. Next random thing. So this is a very taboo subject, but I think it'll be an interesting one for me and you. Should a YouTuber or streamer hook up with a fan in any way, or should they ever have that kind of relationship with a viewer of theirs? Like, do we think that's okay? Do we think it's not okay? Do we think it's okay in certain circumstances? Like, what's your kind of take and opinion on this?
Well, I don't see why not.
Yeah, as long as they're consenting adults.
Yeah.
Make that clear.
I don't know. It's how is it any different from like seeing someone on the street and then wanting to meet them, or talking to a friend at school, or making friendships? I don't really see how it's much different to that, because you're just kind of finding someone. You kind of just like making shortcuts to things you're interested in.
Yeah. I think the reason I bring this conversation up and stuff is because we see a lot of controversies about YouTubers obviously doing horrendous things and going down avenues that we won't discuss here because that can be for another day or whatever. But what I always found interesting was kind of there's a power dynamic when you think about it, right? I mean, think about it. Someone has come in, is following this person, looking after them, like looking up to them in some circumstances, and kind of being like, hey, I like this streamer, they're really cool and stuff. Just isn't there some sort of power dynamic technically as the viewer is looks at this person, whoever they are, and is like, or like a fan of theirs, like whether it's an actor as well. Take actors for instances. We look at actors and they're like, oh my god, they're so pretty, or they're so handsome, or damn, look at their ears. Imagine if that person got messaged by that person and then a relationship started. Isn't there kind of like a power dynamic? Like, is there a scale on it, or does that not fit into the equation if they're adults and they're consenting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know better.
It's very situational, isn't it? Because it's there's this whole like TwitchCon and things, like internet celebrities.
Yeah.
People may think they're like visiting a load of streamers, which are celebrities now.
Yes.
I suppose it's just like that celebrity thing, but you just have to be careful who you meet, and
I would say it's very circumstantial.
How else would you meet someone? Maybe you meet someone who they don't know that you're a streamer and stuff. So
yeah, exactly. I think if you're someone, let's say on the scale of like PewDiePie or Pay Money Wubby, who's a Twitch streamer with 30,000 people that follow him and stuff like that, or Ludwig or anything like that. I think if you've got like a humongous audience, there's more tabooness to it. I think because there's so many different people. Then that this is not how, I'm not saying these people look at it in this way, but there are obviously, and has been proven, there are people out there who have these audiences and have like a crop to choose from. Like, oh, I'll have you tonight, I'll have you tomorrow, and then they're kind of emotionally leaving these people with nothing.
Well, it's just like what music groups have been doing for ages. Roadies.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Actually, yeah. No, I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Yeah. Going on tours and sleeping with fans, and that's just like that was part of rock and roll, wasn't it?
Wow, yeah, that's an interesting point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the power, and then they're just ditching them afterwards onto the next gig.
Okay, Christ. This is not to make this. This is not meant to be like a depressing topic. I just found it interesting because I wanted to, bring it up and have a chat about it. But I do find that I didn't even think of that. See, bands do that. They got like not all bands do it. They go around, they sleep with
probably
women,
more
men,
so
whatever.
In the past, but
yeah. Who knows?
It definitely still happens, but
not as often, probably not as frequently as it used to, but
yeah,
because of the culture and everything and how it's changed. But no, I agree with that. That's a fascinating point. Ooh, damn, Sean, you've given me something to think about. That's genuinely.
You're writing it down now. You're like,
just give me fucking notepad out. That's a very interesting point. Well, there you go. Sometimes we get interesting quotes and points that are made in these conversations. That ended that quickly. But yeah.
It's already happening elsewhere. So
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. Because I also put on there like involving like fans and stuff in videos or streams, kind of what's. But then I guess that falls under the same thing because technically, if you look at like bands and stuff, some music videos have their fans in it. That's maybe not on such a personal scale. Maybe I don't know, but then that's another.
or
Yeah,
on like even darker subjects like Jimmy Savile, if people see people on TV,
yeah,
they're big fans of him. Any kid that ever met him was like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing!" But
yeah.
of course, he's abusing that power.
Yeah, and that's like again, that's why I brought it because like you have YouTubers like Austin Jones. I don't like naming them, but just as an example, I won't name anymore. And there have been plenty of people more recently that have been called out for dubious behaviour and acts as well with fans and underage people as well. And I think if you're two consenting adults, in my mind, I don't see the harm in it as long as you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah,
I don't think a relationship can come out of, like, say you look at some, like I said, someone massive with millions of followers. A relationship is going to be very difficult as a fan to that person because I feel like jealousy is going to be fucking ripe everywhere because that person's going to be meeting and greeting hundreds of thousands of people every year. So, that's a little different. But I think smaller people, smaller creators, that's fine. I think I don't see the problem with that. But I don't know. Maybe that's a question and a conversation to continue another day.
yeah, difficult one. A very broad subject with lots of variables.
Yeah, definitely. But that is it. I don't have any more. Do you have any random things or?
That is it, I'm afraid.
That is it. That's fine. That's a good one. I mean,
we've ended on a bombshell.
That's to be honest. I'll be honest. This podcast has gone on longer than I thought it would because I honestly thought I was like, oh, this is not going to last. But hey, we did it. We do it every time.
Pulled it out the bag.
Dream team every time. So yeah, couple of short announcements. Obviously, for those of you who have managed to stick to the end of this, thank you very much. You would have noticed the first version of this was the audio podcast. So this is how it's going to be. The first week will be an audio release, and then during the week there'll be 2 clips that will come out from this actual podcast with me and Sean talking, and then the following weekend the video version of us. You'll see our beautiful faces. So, yeah, that's the plan for now. There is also going to be another bonus podcast that's going to be filmed next week. I'm not too sure on the release date for it yet. But I'm going to be interviewing someone with OCD. We're going to talk about how it affects their life, the changes and things they go through. And, I hope people will enjoy it and find it fun and a different take. But, thank you very much, Sean. I know it's very late.
Thank you.
Or later, later than we normally do it, and it's probably quite tiring.
Yeah, we wanted to get this done today, and it happens.
It happens. We make it happen. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you to anyone who is watching this or listening, however you like to obtain the podcast. And I hope you enjoyed. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, Sean. Love you to bits, and we'll speak to you guys in the next one.
Catch you guys later.
Bye bye.